Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's that time of the week again. It's the Sesh podcast, and I'm your host, Jordan, joined as always with Dan Lee.
What up, what up?
What's going on, Dan Lee? It's been a little while since we've done one of these.
I know, I've been here, but the real question is, where have you been?
That is a good question, man, and I've been experiencing the real world, you know?
What does that mean exactly?
It means I've been finding myself out there. I've been working extremely hard as usual. I'm also dedicating myself to the community per usual, and that leaves very little time for fun things like poker and shit.
So what, you're like volunteering at the hospital?
Something similar to that, more like helping the troubled youth perfect a skill.
Oh, you're coaching hockey.
Yes, correct.
For free.
I mean, they pay me,
Okay.
but it's not like...
So you're not really giving back to the community. You're doing a job. It's like you picked up an extra shift or something.
They don't pay me enough for me to call it a job, but it's definitely, it's definitely nice to get a little extra dough.
And how's that going?
It's going all right, man. We've played 4 games so far. My team's 3-1. Dropped a tough game on Saturday. We lost 2-1 to a team down south, but... my team's pretty good. I feel good about it. I think this is going to be a team that probably going to win states.
So is this something that you see becoming more of like a serious pursuit
Absolutely
in
not.
the future?
First of all, I've been coaching since 2009, so it's been a long, long time. This is something I just enjoy. I am probably the most talented person to come out of this area in a long, long time as far as hockey's concerned. So, I mean, why not take all this wealth of knowledge I've gained and give back?
Just so you guys know, West Chase isn't really that big, so
I'm not talking West Chase.
He's not really saying too much there.
I'm talking about the whole Tampa Bay area. Go ahead and throw in Orlando, Lakeland, all that area.
And you're saying you're one of the highest talents to ever come out of this area?
The highest talent. Well, actually, I will say Nathan Smith. If anybody does follow hockey here, Nathan Smith is actually a Pasco kid, your homie, and he grew up here, and he did something that nobody's ever done before. Plenty of guys have grown up playing hockey here, but then they move, at different ages. Some move at like 14, 15, 16. I moved at 16, and I finished high school somewhere else. This kid went all the way through high school I think he went to Mitchell, and he ended up going to play juniors for a couple of years, and he's got a full ride to Minnesota State, and he was a third-round draft pick of the Winnipeg Jets. So this is a truly homegrown kid from Florida that is doing big things. So I love that, man. It's awesome to see, and I will give up the crown to he is the biggest talent in this area for sure.
So if you're so sick, how come you never made the league?
Made the league, yeah.
Or
or
even a step below that.
Hey, I didn't have the drive or the dedication to do it. Obviously, being talented is only one part of the game. You gotta have the work ethic. You gotta wanna get to that next level. And I mean, talent alone, sure, I could probably play pro hockey somewhere, probably in the East Coast League. Which is basically like anyone who follows sports. East Coast Hockey League is basically AA, minor leagues type hockey. The AHL is AAA. The NHL is obviously the show. I've got friends that played many years overseas in Europe, played in the AHL, played in the East Coast League. I have friends that played a couple games in the actual league, but it's not easy to do, man. So yeah, I tell you right now, I just didn't have the drive or the dedication.
So what you're saying is your skill set, just based off of skill, you could have easily gone further with hockey.
Yeah, I mean, just skill got me as far as I could basically go. The work ethic just was never
Why
really
wouldn't you
there.
want to put in the work ethic? I don't understand.
So there was like a time right around 17, 18 years old where I just decided I don't have that passion to try to pursue this to any type of professional type career or anything like that. And I was right around the time where I got very involved with poker. Poker took up the majority of my time. I was running home games out of my dorm in high school. I was running home games out of my dorm in college. I was playing on full tilt poker during class. I was pretty much dedicated to poker by the time I was 17, 18 years old.
Well, I will say I have not seen you play hockey, but I've seen you play poker. I think you made the wrong decision.
I knew I set you up for that one, right? I mean, it's all right. Dan Lee could have fucking Phil Ivey at his table, and he would talk shit about his game. So the fact that you want to, throw a little jab in there, it's all good.
I'm just saying, I mean, if you're born with a natural gift, as you say you are with hockey, why not go with it?
Because it's not what I enjoy doing. I mean, I enjoy coaching. I really do because it keeps me. I'm very competitive. So there's two things I can really do to satisfy that competitive urge, and that is to coach hockey, and that's to play poker. Right now, I'm not really feeling playing poker because hockey's going on at the same time.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
so that kind of takes care of my competitive urge.
When was the last time you actually put in a real session of cash playing poker?
I think the end of August.
We're in October.
Almost.
Everyone keeps asking me where you been? They want to know where the other half of the Silk Sesh podcast is, and I don't know what to tell them. I just say I don't know.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, once the season starts, and the season starts, basically end of August, I mean, I kind of, it does take me away from the poker room. And that was kind of why I didn't know if I was going to coach this year, because I had been playing a lot of poker. I just started my new job. And I was like, maybe I'll take a year off from coaching. But now that I'm in it, it's got my full attention, man. So this is definitely taking a little bit of a backseat as far as me playing poker. However, the podcast and me, I'm still around. I mean, I just saw you on Friday. I was in the room playing the PLO tournament a couple weeks ago. So
you did not see me on Friday.
I did see you on Friday. I saw you at Vaughn's on Friday. Not here.
Oh,
but yes,
well, that doesn't even really count.
I mean, I guess.
Did you have a game on Friday?
No, I had a game Saturday. Games Saturday, multiple games.
But you usually play on Friday.
Correct.
And what was your excuse this time?
I just had to mentally prepare for, battle.
That's Jordan Pratt for you guys. I think he just lost his competitive urge, like he said, for poker. But you know what? Sometimes
because it's being fulfilled by my competitive urge.
Sometimes people need a break from poker every once in a while. I mean, I played every day for 7 straight years, and I'm burnt out. So sometimes a break is good.
A break is definitely good. I mean, and I will tell you, I will be in this room playing poker a decent amount in the next couple of months. But it's really hard to say right now with how things are going with hockey and other things. But, I know I've mentioned on the podcast a couple times that I'll be in the room playing. And if anyone listens to this and they've been in the room and they're like, where the hell is Jordan? I am coming. Don't you worry.
Are you playing this week?
No, I'm not playing this week.
Are you playing next week?
Yes, I am playing next week.
All right, guys, you heard it here first.
I will put in at least 2 sessions, not this week, but next week, yes.
Well, hopefully that rings true, and hopefully, we see you at the tables.
Well, let's talk about the last time I did play poker. It was the PLO tourney a couple weeks ago. That was a great turnout and a really fun tournament.
Yes, the Silks hosted their first PLO tournament last Wednesday, or was it the Wednesday before that? No, today's the 30th.
It was the 18th of September.
So 2 weeks ago, and it was a 150 buy-in, a 5K guaranteed, and I wanted to play it, but I ended up covering it instead. I think a tournament like this different with a lot of newer players to PLO. I feel like that's something that people may have wanted to know more about, so I decided to cover it. Jordan played it a little bit, and it actually did really well. It doubled the guarantee, got 82 players.
Thanks to me.
First place was 3,400, and I think the prize was a little over 10. And we want to thank all of you guys that were listening, that followed us on all those social media platforms and got the word out, liked everything, followed it. So we definitely appreciate that. And did you hear any feedback from this tournament, Jordan, from other players?
I did hear from other players. Some people posted on our social media that they really enjoyed it, that they hope it becomes a regular thing. Obviously, right now, I think they're scheduled to do it once a month, and I think that's the appropriate amount. I don't think you want to do too many of these. It's just gonna, you want it to be like something people look forward to every month. So I think once a month is good right now, and I've heard a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people enjoyed it for sure. What about you? You hear anything?
Yeah, I think people just like variety. Hold'em is just every day. That's all we play is Hold'em, these tournaments, and I think a change, especially for people that don't play PLO too often or never have, they definitely I think a game where you get more cards and there's more possibilities, and that just kind of it gets people's attention a lot more. I think that's why we got such a great turnout.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely not a game that you play all the time like Hold'em is. And I saw some interesting people out in the field. Not gonna lie, I was good to see. A lot of people are apparently a fan favorite of Travis. Travis Napolitano is in the building, and he was doing quite well for a while.
What do you mean they're a big fan of him?
I mean, we post videos of him. Everyone's commenting, liking it. Travis brought a lot of traffic to the Silk Sesh, and it seems like he's in high demand. I didn't realize he was such a stud.
I do remember speaking with Travis in an interview during one of the breaks, and I asked him if this tournament ran every month, if he would play. He's like, definitely. He just loved. First of all, he likes to gamble. For those of you who have not played with Travis, he loves to gamble. He'll flip quarters in the parking lot with you if you want. But he says this is a great tournament. The structure was good. He played all the time, if we run it. And now we're trying it again in October. So hopefully, we get the same amount of traffic. And, the action is just great for all types of players.
Yeah, I mean, Travis built up a nice little stack early. He felt it Sean Hampson. He felt it myself. He was just, in a nice little heater. I think there was one hand where he felt it 4 guys in one hand. Right before the break, and just became an overwhelming chip leader right off the bat. He definitely likes to get it in. I can't say he likes to get it in good, but he likes to get it in. And when you run as well as Travis,
you never really get it in good in PLO. Like, hands run so close to each other that you can get in with a set against flush draw, straight draw, lower set, and you can be a dog actually. So this is one of those games where if you like to gamble and you just want that adrenaline rush, PLO is definitely the game for you. It's definitely a lot of action.
So obviously the PLO tournament, really good turnout, doubled the guarantee, and we're going to do it again in October. What else is going on in October? Any other interesting tournaments? Anything good? Promotions? What's up?
So we have the Soaks usually runs the 150 buy-in 10K guaranteed every other Monday. So today they have it right now, which is September 30th. However, they won't have it again until September 14th, which is the next Monday.
You mean October 14th?
Or October 14th, which is the 2 Mondays from now. They won't have it again until October 28th, which is that following Monday. So they're sticking with the routine. However, on October 29th, they will schedule a 150 buy-in 10K guarantee PLO tournament at 6 o'clock. So if you guys want to come out and play, this time the guarantee is 10K, same buy-in, same structure. So if you want to come out and gamble again, I think this might be a reoccurring monthly tournament. Hopefully I can play it this time. I like to play PLO. I just lose too much playing PLO cash, so this is like an inexpensive way for me to get my gamble out.
Yeah, I threw 3 shells at it, kid, and I still lost under $500, so I felt good.
Oh, it's good ROI for you.
No, under $500, we were good.
Yeah, so that's October 29th. Like I said, October 28th is the 150. Oh, I'm sorry. October 28th is the 150 15K guaranteed. So not 10K, but 15K. So a little bit of change, a little curveball thrown at you guys. And like I said, that following Tuesday, October 29th, it's a 150 PLO 10K. That starts at 6 o'clock. But just check the tournament calendar. Everything's going to be on there. They're running satellites every Monday to get into that tournament. The satellites are at 1 p.m., $30 buy-in. So if you get a chance and you want to learn how to play the game and try and get in for cheap, check it out on our website.
One thing that I noticed is absent of this calendar, it's been like a Silk staple for many, many years here, is the Halloween tournament. Where is the Halloween tournament?
You know what, Jordan? I'm looking at the tournament right now, and I actually do not see it listed anywhere here.
And that's disappointing for me. Obviously, I'm somebody that I don't play a lot of tournaments, but there are basically 3 tournaments a year where I will heavily consider playing, and that's the Halloween tournament, the St. Patrick's tournament, and the main event of the Summer Series tournament that we run here at Silks. Those 3 tournaments, have been staples in this room for a long, long time. Now, I remember when they first changed the limits back in 2010, that Halloween tourney, they advertised as a $50,000, not guarantee, a $50,000 first place prize. And it was a big buy-in. I believe it was like around $800, but they were guaranteed $50K for first. And it got a really good turnout. It was a lot of fun. And that was a tournament that I would have loved to play. I actually wasn't in town, and somebody did offer me a piece of their action. I, for whatever reason, turned it down. Maybe you could say I wasn't a believer in their game. However, They ended up chopping three ways for 27K a piece. So it did kind of bother me that at least 13.5 of that should have been mine.
But I will say, every year I've played the Halloween tournament, it usually tends to get a pretty good turnout. Obviously, it's one of their better tournaments, better structures, stuff like that. And I was told that because of these two tournaments, the 15K 150 buy-in on the 28th and the 10K 150 PLO tournament on the 29th, that's kind of the mini series that is running in place of the Halloween tournament. So what do you think about that? Do you think that's like a good substitute, or do you think maybe they should run that a different week, or do you think we should just have the Halloween tournament like they do annually?
I mean, I appreciate them trying new things, and it's interesting. I'm sure they'll get a decent turnout, but I don't like it. I think you're the Silks. You're known for three tournaments. The three tournaments that I listed. I think you should stick with those three tournaments. You can run something like this, maybe like November, December, January. I mean, May or March, or not March, but like February, something like that. You can run it a number of different months throughout the year, or maybe you try to do like a little mini series and you do this 15K guarantee. But I personally, I just like the Halloween tournament. It's a tournament I look forward to. I've played it a number of times, and I'm a little disappointed it's not there. But hey, maybe next year.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. Like anything on Twitter, YouTube, obviously, which is what this is, or Facebook, or even Instagram. Just let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your opinions. But as far as the tournaments, that's all that there is for this month. As far as the new promotions, there's a couple new promotions that we're running this month, and that starts with on Sundays from 1 to 10 p.m. for cash games. You can win up to $5.99 max payout 100 times the number of live action games if you hit a high hand. What are your thoughts on that, Jordan?
What the hell is that again?
So let's say you make, four of a kind jacks or something, and you're playing 1-3, and there's 5 live action games in the room. That means you win $500 because that's 100 times.
Gotcha. So if I hit
do
it,
you like this idea, or is it's a little bit different, something we haven't heard of before?
it's definitely different. It encourages a lot of people to be in the room. That's for sure. I don't mind it actually. So you're telling me if I hit a high hand and there's 8 live action games, I can get $800?
No, because the max, it does say here in fine print that the max payout is $5.99.
What is this, a car dealership? You got to read the fine print.
So if there is, but I'm just saying, like if there is 2 games, the most you win is 200. If there's 3 games, the most you win is 300, so on and so forth. I like it. I think it's a little bit different. I know they did it last month, but I think it's becoming more of a thing this month. So hopefully it goes well and the players like it. This might encourage the players to, instead of break games, to like keep the games going, I think.
Yeah, I mean that very well could play a factor. It's interesting. I mean, a lot of people do come into the room for the high hands and promotions. So if that helps bring people in the room and helps them stay in the room, then yeah, I'm all for it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a promotion that there's any real negative towards it. I mean, yeah, you could be in here on a Sunday night and maybe it's real slow and you hit a high hand and you're like, fuck, sick, I got $100 or something. But I think that's going to be few and far between.
Yeah, another one of the high hands. This is a new one that I've never heard of. It's called Faces Full.
Okay.
So basically, from what I'm reading here, is you get paid X amount of money from 1 to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday. You must play both hole cards, and you need to make a full house, but faces full. So that means kings full, queens full, jacks full. However, there's more to it than just that. If you flop the full house, the face is full, you get 300. If you turn it, you get 200, and if you river it, you get 100. So what are your thoughts on that?
You get paid for aces full?
Only faces full.
Only faces full.
So kings, queens, and aces.
I mean, I guess it's all right. I mean, I don't know. This may be on the side of a little gimmicky, I think, but I'm not. Again, I don't make full houses, so I'm not one of these people that are going to be benefiting from this type of high hand. However, it's a little interesting. I mean, it's something different, which I can't ever knock for a poker room trying something different. This, however, is not one of my favorite promotions. from what I can tell so far. But maybe I'll play and I'll have a different thought.
Yeah, I'm sure you will when you win.
I don't make full houses, sir.
So that's another different kind of promotion they're running. And then they're bringing back what you guys may have remembered from a few months ago is the Royal Flush promotion. A few months ago, it was for $50,000. I think that day it was diamonds. And this time, it's a $60,000 Royal Flush promotion.
Ship it.
Only on Sunday, October 27th, and Wednesday, October 30th. If you hit the Spade Royal, you're going to win $50,000. And any other Royal hitting on that day, you'll win $10,000. So hopefully this will drive people to the room on those specific days, and we'll have a good turnout for that. Because I think that's a really good promotion. It's really hard to hit a Royal. So if you're lucky enough to do so, in spades especially, then you're going to win a lot of money.
I agree. I mean, I love this promotion when they did it a couple months ago. Probably my favorite thing about this place. I was playing every Tuesday, Thursday. I've fucking never hit a Royal. But I was playing in this room, and I came in every day yo, today's my day. I'm going to hit that 50K. I don't think I ever came close, but it got me in the room, and I love it. It's exciting. Every time you're starting off with suited paint, or you're starting off with, the ace 10 of, ace 10 suited, or any type of fun hands like that, you just know, this flop is going to smash, and you're just going to hit that fucking Royal. However, it didn't really happen, and the Silks was safe, but it did happen once at least, and they did get burned for 50K. So if we can get some more of that money, I'm all for it.
Yeah, so enough of the promotions. One thing I've noticed about this calendar after looking at it is that they have officially put 136 as an official game on this calendar. So, that's just the kind of game that, if you want to play 1-3, but you kind of want to play 2-5, you want a lot of action, but you also want it to be a little bit tame. And this is kind of the perfect game. It's a $200 min, 1,000 max. And it's funny because I was playing the other day, last Friday, and they actually got 2 full 136 games going that ran through most of the afternoon, which was very surprising to me.
Do you find it funny how, some people won't play 2-5, but they'll play the 136 game, when in actuality, the 136 game is bigger?
It is funny you say that, because that is true.
I just think that's funny. They'll offer 2-5, and, you'll see a lot of people who won't sign up for the 2-5, but if somebody offers 136, they're like, yeah, I'm in. When it's you realize you're playing a bigger game, but I don't know. It's interesting to me.
Well, it's funny you say that too, because again, I'm looking at the calendar and I did not know that they raised the stakes of the 2-5 to 1,500. From what I remember, it used to be 200 to 1,000, and then they changed it from 400 to 1,000, and now it's 400 to 1,500. However, the 2-5 has been kind of, non-existent lately. I honestly don't remember the last time I played it or they even ran it. But like you said, the 136 is big enough. I think it's bigger than probably any 2-5 game in the area, to be honest. And it's definitely a lot of action. You've played it. I've played it. The other day I played it. We got a straddle all the way up to 48 a couple times. So like I said, if you're looking for action, this is definitely the kind of game for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, who doesn't like a straddle of 48? What the fuck? I mean, how'd that go? I can picture. How many times can you remember? And it's probably been a few times. Have you put on the 48 straddle? How many times in your life can you remember putting on that 48
I've actually
straddle?
Put on the $80 straddle at 2-5 one time, and I put on the $96 straddle at 1-3 one time.
Oh, both 96 at a 1-3
Both worked out in my favor. So anyone that calls me a nit, just remember the statement that I'm now, proclaiming right now.
So you got the whole table to straddle at the 1-3?
Yes, and they told me that they would only. So I was stuck that night. So obviously I want to create a little bit of action, and I don't know what happened in that 1-3 game, but I just kind of told them that, hey, you go 48, I'll go 96, and they're like, no, Daniel, no way, because everyone knows, my style of play. And then once someone put the 6 on, someone put the 12, 24, 48, and then everyone was looking at me right before the cards were
96.
I remember too, because Anthony DeLegro was dealing that hand.
Oh, he probably loved it.
Yeah, so it folded around to me. One guy had called, and it was my option, and I had pocket 3s.
Ship it.
There's a bunch of dead money in the middle, so I had 500 left, so I just went all in, which was kind of funny because there's a bunch of limpers and there's already a bunch of money in the middle. The player that was in the $48 straddle actually folded pocket 10s.
Oh wow, what a nit!
And I got it all in against a same stack who had, I think he had ace queen, and I thought the set, and that was that. So
did you break off our boy DeLegro?
I hooked him up.
What does that mean exactly?
I'm sure I'll hear from him tomorrow when he listens to this video what that exactly means.
Yeah, Anthony DeLegro, if you could clarify exactly what this hookup was, we'd like that. You can feel free to post it in the comment section where we post this video so everybody can see.
You know, it was the equivalent to a meal at McDonald's between a meal at Burns. So just kind of think somewhere in between that.
So like $3 to like 150?
More or less.
I'm going to take the side closer to the $3.
You know, so that was one hand. I remembered, and a good friend of mine, Dustin Bradley, remembered this hand too. I was drunk that night. We were playing 2-5. Dustin had gotten the straddle all the way up to 40, and he's like, put on the 80. And I was so drunk, I'm just like, fuck it, why not? So I put on the 80. I remember a player had just went felt, and he just rebought. Doesn't even have his chips yet, and then just shoves all in for 500.
Oh, you got to like that.
Everybody folds, and it gets to me. Again, I'm very drunk. I have no idea what's going on. So I'm like looking at him like, hey, do you want to sweat this together? Just being an idiot. So the first card I look at is an ace. I'm like, all right, if this is anything decent, like a 10, even a 9, I'm just probably just going to call you. Because I had a ton of money that day. I had like 3,000 in front of me. I saw a no spotter.
Oh, sick, the deuce.
And I looked at it. Was a different suit. Looked at it a little bit closer, and I saw one little diamond in the middle, and yeah, it turned out I had pocket aces. And obviously I call, and this is where we decided to run it twice. So long story short, I end up winning both boards, and like I said, a little bit drunk, a little bit intoxicated, but obviously still know what I'm doing because I called it all in with pocket aces. And yeah, you know, sometimes the straddles definitely induce action, especially at a place like this. And I think the 1-3-6 having the mandatory straddle under the gun, which is what it's been lately, definitely induces the action. That's actually a question I had for you, Jordan. Do you like the straddle better under the gun or on the button, and why?
I actually like the straddle on the button. This has obviously been something that's been debated a few times by people. My thoughts are, if you do it on the button, there's a higher percentage of chance that the 1 may complete to 6, the 3 probably going to complete to 6 with much weaker hands than normal. If you make them last to act and there's already a raise in front of them, they're definitely going to fold. But I think there's way more likely of a chance that you get right off the bat 2 players completing that 6. Then I also think you get other players, either, you know, I think you get other players who want to maybe assume the button. So you might get a low jack putting in a big raise with not the best hand. You might get the high jack putting in a big raise. You might get the cutoff putting in a big raise. So you just try to assume the button because the button's got a blind hand. Now, I also think the button is also going to take advantage of this situation a lot more than they would under the gun. Because they're going to be in a better spot post-flop. They're going to be in a much better position to put in a big raise on the button and play post-flop last. I think I like it because I think it would increase the action per hand. But some people disagree, but that's kind of my thought on things. I would prefer it to be on the button. I think it's a little more, it would create a little more action, especially for those players who always raise the button, and when they've got their straddle out there, it's like 90% they're going to be raising.
Yeah, people never believe you when you raise the button, especially in your own straddle. But like I said, I love the 1-3-6 game. It's been going every Friday, sometimes 2 games. Like last week, it was 2 for most of the night. So definitely an action game that we now, I guess, looks like run all the time.
Yeah, I like it. Well, good stuff for the Slokes cash game. So anything else going on, or is that pretty much what's new?
As far as poker goes in this room, that's pretty much it. However, Friday will be the last time that, at least me, because I play in this room all the time, Jordan's been MIA. Friday will be the last time that I'm going to be able to play poker for a few days because you and I and Dustin have an upcoming trip coming up to Dallas.
This is very true, and we will talk about that. But you and I were having a conversation right before we got on air about the ongoing situation that we've talked about, and you seemed a little bothered by group chat conversation between friends. Now, you don't think it's fair that somebody said, and somebody who you're pretty close with, said a certain situation is making you look like a piece of shit, right? That was what was said.
I mean, I guess, yeah, but I mean, piece of shit is just so like low. I feel like that's like the lowest of low as far as calling a person. And if what I'm doing like makes you think of me as that, then I don't think you really know what you're talking about.
I see. Here's the thing.
I know you side against me like you do
I
with all
don't
this
si-
kind of stuff.
I don't side against you at all. Actually, I actually don't have a side in this situation because I knew from day one what this situation was, and I think what's happened is people who've heard this story, they assumed it was a good gesture by you. However, once you assume that it's a good gesture by you, and then seeing how things are going now, yeah, it would make you look bad. But see, that's why I don't agree with that. I'm not, but I'm also not on your side, really. I agree. I perfectly, I'm perfectly fine with how you're handling it because that's exactly how I expected you to handle it. I wouldn't call you a piece of shit because I think you're a good dude. And I think the person who said it makes you look like a piece of shit wasn't calling you a piece of shit. Just felt like this situation made you look bad.
Okay, if you're saying that a situation makes you look like a piece of shit, you might as well just call him a piece of shit. It's the same thing.
No, because you can be an asshole or you can act like an asshole. Those are two different things.
So, what would you say is the correct?
You're being petty. That's the correct way to say it. Yes.
I'm not being petty. There's more to it than what we're explaining right now, but we're not going to get into that. Just long story short is like if someone's saying that you're becoming a piece of shit because given the situation, they're basically calling you that in my eyes.
I mean, I get it in your eyes. It's never
okay.
something
So you know
wanna,
the whole situation.
Yeah.
Would you go as far as to say that I'm scummy? Because I already know the answer. I just want to hear you say it.
I would say,
and don't lie either. There's people listening.
I would say you're being petty. I mean, that's the best way to describe it.
That's not what I asked you. I'm saying
it's not necessarily scummy because the person approached you with this offer. So if the person approached you with this offer, and I know how you think, you see, oh, I got a chance to make a couple extra bucks, lock it in. You're all about trying to collect that extra little bit of cash or whatever. So I see why you would say yes, and the guy brought it to you. You didn't bring it to him. So that part doesn't make you scummy. Now, however, there has been some repayment, not all in full as to what was agreed on, but you got your money back and you've got some extra. Some people are just wondering, why is that not enough, Daniel?
If I was promised something by a specific time by what I consider a friend, then I feel like they should follow through on their word.
Speaking of that, I owe you $100. Here you go. So don't put me in this category of other people.
This is only 20.
No, it's $100, pal. It might even be like 300. I might have thrown some extra in there.
No, but I'm just saying if let's say something happened between you and a friend, and they gave you, we won't call it a promise, but they gave you their word that they would come through. They even gave you these stipulations. They came up with everything. And by the time that, time period rolled around, they didn't follow through with their word. I think it's okay, and I think it's fair to be a little aggravated and upset.
100%.
So I feel like the way that I'm reacting, given what I was told, I think it's nothing but fair.
I 100% agree. You have every right to be bothered, upset, tweaked, whatever adjective you want to use. However, I think we're at the point, because it has been so long, it has been dragged out forever. It's safe to say you're never going to loan this person a dime again. Is that correct?
Most likely not.
So they've paid you what you gave them, plus an additional 20%, even though it's late, very, very late. Let's just move on from the situation, and do we really need to collect the extra money?
I think I've just learned to keep my private life private, especially around you guys, because you guys like to blow things out of proportion. See, it's funny because I have a group of friends that I have this group chat with, and I'm like what's a good word? I'm like the target. Everyone likes to revolve their shit around my life and make me look like the bad guy.
This is all
which is exactly what this whole situation is.
I didn't say you're the bad guy.
I didn't say you, but you're not disagreeing with what was said in the chat. You didn't say, hey, you know what, Daniel's not a piece of shit.
No, if you listened to me about 2 minutes ago, I just said I don't think you're a piece of shit. I think you're petty. However, the person who called you this, I mean, I think that was a little harsh. Person who called Daniel Lee that, I would take that back. But I see where you're coming from.
Do you think this person called me that because we don't have a very good history as well, as far as that kind of thing goes?
I think that plays into it, yes.
But see, that's the thing. We live in this world, not like this world, but like the poker world, where this kind of thing is like, that's what makes you live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, your reputation is pretty much what you have to live off of in the poker world. In the gambling world, because there's always going to be times where you need money or maybe you need to loan money out. So if you have a bad reputation, I mean, you've cut off a lot of resources in that gambling world, and that just makes things real difficult for you. So if you get the reputation of being somebody that doesn't pay bets or somebody that doesn't pay back loans, it's not good.
Are you glad you got that out?
I'm glad we discussed it.
I was just talking about our upcoming trip, and
we're
somehow
definitely jump into
we
that
got to this.
because we had a very good conversation before we jumped into this podcast, and I wanted to make sure that the people got to hear a little insight about what tweaks Daniel Lee. And if you haven't noticed, Daniel does not like to be the center of attention as far as
anything.
As far as drama and things are concerned. If you want to talk about a poker player or something, Daniel wants to be up front and center, like, everybody better think I'm the man, I'm so good. But anything other than that,
I've never said that.
Anything other than that, Daniel doesn't want to be involved. So it's fine. We'll leave it at this. I'm glad we did discuss it a little bit.
I'm glad somebody is.
And I think by the end of this trip that we go on, I think you and that person who may have called you or said you're acting like a piece of shit, I think you guys will be compadres.
Oh, we're friends. I love that guy. I just think, I don't want to say he's in the wrong here. His opinion is his opinion, but I think he's basing this all off what has happened in the past and the current situation. Think about if he were in my shoes, would he not react the same way? Would you not react the same way?
Well, I mean, I do remember the time he had you stuck about $4,000 on a flight and let you out for like.
There's a big
$300.
Difference between winning money and owing money. Huge
I agree with that.
Difference.
There's a difference.
So don't even compare the two.
But once you're paid back the money and some that you loaned, now like where does that money come from? Where's the
what's that old saying? What's that old saying? A man is as only as good as his word.
Okay, so if you owed somebody money because you lost a gambling bet, and you owed the money and they let you off with a pretty big discount, what's exactly the difference between the money that you lost gambling and the money that you're trying to collect in interest? This isn't money you gave him. This is money that you're just trying to collect because of a penalty. Of a penalty for payment.
There's no word that he was given that I gave to him that made him, cut the debt to what it got to.
Yeah, he was just being a friend.
These are two completely different scenarios.
So are you saying the person that owes you money and penalty, not money that you loaned him, money and penalty now, are you saying he's not necessarily a friend?
He's a friend, but it's a little bit hazy now with how everything has been handled. But enough about this. We can move on from this. Like I said, we have an upcoming trip to Dallas in a few days. We're flying out on Friday. This Friday, we're going to go see Dallas at home play the Green Bay Packers. Should be an awesome experience. I've heard a lot of good things about the stadium out there. Are you excited, Jordan?
Yeah, I've been to Dallas a couple times. I've got family out there, but I have never been to the stadium. I've never really explored the city of Dallas. Always just been family trips when I've been there. So I'm fired up, man. Even though it's two shitty football teams we're going to go watch, I'm fired up.
This coming from a guy who's a Bucs fan who somehow won yesterday. Everyone decides to have a career day, and of course I go against Chris Godwin in fantasy. I go against Jameis in fantasy. My team's really good.
Your team's trash. You don't have Antonio Brown.
Yes, I'm aware, but I do have Melvin Gordon on the way back.
You're happy about that.
Saquon Barkley, actually, he popped his shoulder back in, so he's good to go next week.
It wasn't his shoulder. It was like his fucking ankle.
Whatever. He popped that back in, too. My team, when it gets healthy, they'll be nasty. So the league better take notice.
Did you win fantasy this week?
I have a chance. I need John Ross to get about 100 points. So if that does happen, I will get the dub.
I got the dub because my opponent put up 69 points. So hit squad. Thanks for the shitty week.
Yeah, like how come I always run into the players that have these monster days? I can never play the people that have really bad weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get lucky sometimes in that situation. My team didn't really go off. I mean, I think I put up like 100 and something points, but yeah, I was very helpful to hit squad just laid it in.
I'm excited though because I'm playing you next week.
Are you?
Yeah, I am playing team. You are Team Thuggerillas, correct?
Correct. The Thuggerillas are for sure. I mean, they're the shit.
So hopefully I can get a dub there. I don't want to be first on the waiver wire all the time because that's where it seems. That's where it seems to be where I'm at. So I need good, solid players.
So what kind of things you want to do in Dallas? Obviously, we're gonna be there all Saturday. We have the whole day to explore. I was looking up some things. Looks to be like a pretty cool city to check out. So I mean, I have some ideas. I don't know if you've looked into anything that you want to check out. But
what have you seen that you want to do?
So there's like this exhibit in somewhere in Dallas where like they take you to see like where the JFK shooting happened, which I heard is my friend Ben Rizzo went and checked it out a couple years ago. He said it was really cool. He said it's kind of eerie, like when you're there, it feels weird. But then there's like there's like artsy shit to check out, museums, things like that. Obviously, we want to have a good food dining experience, so we got to find like a sick restaurant to hit up. But I don't know. I mean, if you and Dustin want to do anything specific, definitely we'll just plan it out.
You don't strike me as the museum collection art kind of guy.
Well, see, you obviously don't know me that well.
Can you name one artist?
Picasso, my dog.
And what was his famous painting?
Picasso, my dog.
Okay. Okay. I don't think we're gonna go to the museum. However, that does sound like something interesting I'd like to do. But no, I just like to travel. This is definitely gonna be the last trip I take for a while. I've literally gone on way too many vacations and spent way too much money. I went to Vegas 2 times in the last 2 months. I'm going to Dallas again. I'm going to Dallas. I'm taking another trip again a month after I just took a trip. So we're going to scale back on the traveling for a little bit. But hopefully we get a good game. We get a good atmosphere, a good vibe. We're going out there Friday night, and we'll be back early Monday morning. So we will not be in the room this week to podcast anything.
We may podcast from Dallas, though.
I do like that idea. So, keep your ears open. Maybe you'll get a little surprise podcast on YouTube sometime this weekend.
Real quick, Danley, I haven't really. I mean, I've done a little research on my own, but have you checked out any of the church services that they may have in the great city of Dallas?
It's funny you say that because I did.
Of course you did.
We were just talking about things to do, so I'm very religious, as all of you know, and
Yeah.
We're definitely going to find some synagogues, some crosses, all that stuff. I got to make sure to pack a nice outfit for that day, so early Sunday morning we'll go there, and I'll just pray for a Packers win.
My buddy, he travels there for work sometimes, and he did give us he gave me a little cheat sheet on maybe some churches that are better than others. So if we're looking for a great service, we might have somewhere to go.
Amen.
All right, until next week, or until this weekend, you might hear from us. From everyone here at the Silk Sesh, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, make sure to follow us on social media at Silk Sesh Podcast, on Twitter at Silk Sesh Podcast, on Instagram, and Silk Sesh Podcast on Facebook. Until next time, this is your boy Jay Munn
and Daniel Lee.
Holla at your boy. Peace.